Objection to that procedure? All right, any senator is free to do that and be added.
Thank you.
Next order of business, Mr. Secretary, motion subject to the call of the chair. That'd be that's right. All right, we'll vote on the substitute motion. Call for that.
Vice Chairman Senator Covington, with the third member Senator Bishop.
Hey, adjourn. See y'all 12 o'clock Friday.
We got some sign-ins of the House resolution.
We got some further business.
Vice Chairman Senator Keener, with the members of Mr. Figures, Mr. Proctor, Mr. Alden.
The resolution, then later we'll come back to whether everybody wants to be a co-sponsor.
For compassion in dealing with this situation here in Alabama.
Cavanagh and Mr. Foshee. Senate Committee Vice Chairman Ms. Bedsoe, with Emerson. Vice Chairman Senator Boyington.
Broadly written resolution that is not hopefully going to hurt anybody, and it's just, I would ask that they be added if they affirmatively request rather than the latter.
This is not an objection for members of the Senate. I attended a meeting with Dale Ritchie with some farmers from different parts of the state, and
About this since the day the votes were counted. Some of it I had to put off until after the votes were counted. Substitute motion subject to the call of the chair. That'd be that's right. All right, we'll
So difficulty is not part of the yardstick with which I measure task. It's a noble thing to provide human service. Not except someone of my qualifications, and that is why I don't have to think about the fact that I'm black. I think that the situation being the way it is, I probably would have been chosen. Anyway, the fact that I'm black is gravy, let's say. Ordinary consideration, but I expect to be able to present part of the government. That the name. More can be done with less funds. It's just a matter of getting ourselves together and attacking the problem from a unified standpoint.
Have you taken a look at the budget yet?
Yes.
be, number one, the best commissioner that the state has ever had. The times that we are in now are very, very difficult times. And I think that my previous experience in tax and for me, our challenge is to collect all taxes that are due to the state.
Commissioner White is still looking at the state's financial picture. He says a preliminary diagnosis is that Alabama's economic status is bleak.
It'll be very challenging.
Kim Davis, WSFA TV News.
The funds are going to be tight, but I think that that only means we'll have to find other ways to get the same job done. I do not believe at this time that we need to start talking about doing less when more needs to be done, particularly by this department.
State has ever had. The times that we are in now are very, very difficult times. And I think that my previous experience, and this kind of thing, that kind of cost containment will be practiced throughout the administration, I feel. And, you know, there's a hidden source of revenue in cost containment itself. We intend to look at everything along that line. Income tax. So the new tax, the recent tax law
Guy, do the honors. I guess so. We're just going to have to tear it. Thank you. Also with us is Amy Sloan, which is a Red Cross representative, to serve the blood needs of the state.
I'm excited about being a part of the blood drive, and of course I'm going to give mine. They said I could get in line at first because I've got to go recruiting this afternoon, so I need to get out of here pretty quick. But it is exciting. It's just another way that the Auburn student body shows their spirit and loyalty and enthusiasm for anything that we try to do, and it's always exciting to be just a small part of it.
We feel like that it's the best game in town right now. This program will enable farmers to take some of the land that they currently have into production out of production. It will enable them to receive a payment in kind by virtue of receiving cotton or wheat or corn, and they'll be able to reduce their production inputs. Won't have to plant that, but they'll get that crop. We've got a crisis in agriculture in the state of Alabama. And what I think we need to point out to everyone, especially the farmers, is that we're going to do everything we can within reason to keep them in business and to work with them to bring them through this difficult period and maybe out onto a period when we'll be able to make a little more money.
Consider orders this time. All in favor, motion signify by raising. Unanimous. Motion carries. Department of Forest Hills Drive and Delaware resolution assessing the cost of the favor of these and authorize that resolution complete.
Project has been done, insofar as it's been done. Matters, and it would indeed, as a courtesy to you, answer. As far as Rule 18 is concerned, Rule 18 is a
Computer matter that we discussed 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's correct. Have you talked to these persons directly, all of them, or you just made a written request to the executive branch to have folks available at the council? I have not.
By which all the distributions are made, they It will either be 80% state and federal, or it will be the
One on ready. Mr. Reed, question of the mayor. To you, and I thank you for your time. Thank you. Questions? All right. Mr. President, Mr. Council, ladies and gentlemen, you heard the reading of the order.
The tax of 1% that is what we do every year to keep it in place. No change whatsoever.
Mr. President. Mr. President. Unanimous. Motion carries. Not for signify the raise. Unanimous. Motion carries on. The needs of the Chamber of Commerce and then
The man at Auburn University who most of you know, Mr. Leon McGraw from up on the Sand Mountain here.
Resolution is that it does not go far enough in impeachment.
All right, any senator's free to do that and be added.
Thank you.
Mr. Baxley was joined by his wife Lucy and their 4.5-year-old son Lewis, who got in some practice with his father's gavel.
Substitute motion subject to the call of the chair. That'll be it. That's right. All right, we'll vote on the substitute motion.
Chairman Senator DeGraff and Reed, Vice Chairman Senator Keener, with the members of Mr. Figures, Mr. Proctor.
The resolution, then later we'll come back to whether everybody wants to be a co-sponsor or not. All in favor, say aye.
Home administration for compassion in dealing with this situation.
Mr. Foshee, Senate Committee on Consumer Affairs with Vice Chairman Ms. Bedsoe, with the members.
House Resolution 32 by Mr. Dutton, commending the Hazelwood High School football team. Here, I really don't want to debate or discuss the issue anymore. I'm ready for a vote on it because this is
in any fashion form because of the trouble facing.
Nay. Adjourn. See y'all 12 o'clock Friday.
Resolution 31. Also House Joint Resolution 33. Also House Joint Resolution 35. John W. Pemberton, Clerk.
Folks, I tell you, here's what we're going to do. Substituted by Senate bill. So there's some smaller percentage of that number.
In the 60s, and it doesn't work. We're going by the low bid. You're not going to go by the amount of 5% under the low bid.
Let's simply commend the man at Auburn University who most of you know, Mr. Leon McGraw from Buffalo.
That I oppose any resolution which has no limitation on spending.
Everyone surrounding the Kentucky program admits that the 11th-ranked Wildcats in white, they're in their annual January slump. Averaging 56% from the field, Kentucky hit only 41%. Vastly improved Florida was led by Charles Griffin. The 6'6" junior college transfer was inserted into the starting lineup for the first time. Averaging 5 points and 44% from the field, Charles hit 9 of his first 11 shots and had 23 points. McDowell with a page from the playgrounds, and Florida led 37-31 at halftime. But the Big Dipper, Melvin Turpin, took control in the second half. The 6'11" junior had 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 block shots. Melvin controlled the middle. Down 56-50, Kentucky ran off 11 straight points and came from behind to top Florida 70-63.
See, there's 3 teams play these games, fellas. Kentucky, Florida, and the officiating team. And the crowd influences all of them. I think they inspire the home team. I don't think they intimidate the visiting team, but sometimes they have an effect on the other team.
First half of the game, Alabama in red. Terry Williams with a hook shot won't go, but Bobby Lee Hurt is there with a rebound and the score. Tennessee got a strong performance, especially from its inside game. Dale Ennis down low as he scores for 2. Then Alabama seemed to get sloppy, especially on this play where Tennessee forces the turnover. Willie Burton with the ball. There's no pressure, so he waits for Keith Naylor, who drives and scores. Tennessee leading 35-26 at the half, and then in the second half, Michael Brooks hit from all over the court. Alabama was led by Ennis Watley. Ennis drives the lane. He had 20 points tonight. But it was too much Michael Brooks, especially his shooting from the outside, as Tennessee downs Alabama 74-63. I'm George Michael for NBC News.
Income in any fashion, form, because of the troubles facing state government as far as you can, and to impress the public that you are very interested in this one gets some, this one gets some, and this one gets some. We're not going to do that. We will rebid the matter, and if the bid, of course, are not acceptable to you,
First half of the game, Alabama in red. Terry Williams with a hook shot won't go, but Bobby Lee Hurt is there with a rebound and the score. Tennessee got a strong performance, especially from its inside game. Dale Ennis down low as he scores for 2. Then Alabama seemed to get sloppy, especially on this play where Tennessee forces the turnover. Willie Burton with the ball. There's no pressure, so he waits for Keith Naylor, who drives and scores. Tennessee leading 35-26 at the half, and then in the second half, Michael Brooks hit from all over the court. Alabama was led by Ennis Watley. Ennis drives the lane. He had 20 points tonight. But it was too much Michael Brooks, especially his shooting from the outside, as Tennessee downs Alabama 74-63. I'm George Michael for NBC News.
Mayor, thank you. It's a great honor for me to be here, and for me also to represent our chairman, who is the excellent staff and the leadership. Preservation nationally is flourishing. We're seeing a real shift in public consciousness, using preservation increasingly as a way to revitalize our cities. This train shed is important not only because it is one of the last remaining train sheds in the country and is a national landmark, but it's important as a symbol of your city's commitment to preservation, and really it's a centerpiece. Excellent staff and the leadership. Good. Thank you, sir. Not materials intensive. In '76, we passed a tax act that provided incentives for investment. In '81, that was much expanded. And so now we're seeing it become really part of the mainstream of political life and economic life. So we're very excited about the future for preservation. And I think you have great reason to be excited for the center city in Montgomery.
To you a little bit about the Alabama game is. Now, even at that, now according to my
deer hunting season in Alabama,
that age group, we around the cars. Now, one of the things that really disturbed me about our hunting accidents, if it's not self-inflicted, it's just about, you can just about bet that a relative or a personal close friend is involved in the shooting. Program, as Herb said, we started in 1973.
George Washington University in 1954. I think you will agree with involvement by your members of the various programs of your Bar Association. I know that your program, that the profession itself is really a debtor to society. By giving the time and talent to work in the public interest, the lawyer pays his mission in meeting the common purpose of public service for the association. Now, the ABA nationally addresses the public service obligation in much the same way that you do here in Montgomery. I don't accept that view at all. The truth is that virtually every one of the programs and activities benefit both the legal.
House Resolution 32 by Mr. Dutton, commending the Hazelwood High School football team.
I think that can help get our state going.
Well, Carlton, thank you very much. It's good to have you, and
they were very helpful. And according to the information that's available to me from the budget office and from the state comptroller, we are in position to make payrolls.
Please, just one every month, every 3 months, you know, because this.
At this moment, things are going on to try to maybe bring this to a conclusion, but I'm not at liberty to really discuss that. Well, it would not be a new tax source.
So that would leave it to a real
Today and tomorrow, and we hope by Friday to have some answers to these questions, but I'm not at liberty to say at this moment just what we are doing in order to try to find these additional funds.
Without injecting any type of negativism to what I'm about to say, it's kind of like robbing Peter to pay Paul at this point.
We keep telling our young people, you know, if you're hunting with someone that's not safe, don't be afraid to tell them. Don't be afraid to tell him. Say, how about pointing that gun in the other direction? Or, hey, you're not supposed to get in that truck with a loaded firearm. It's dangerous. Or you're not supposed to carry the gun up the tree with you while it's loaded. And things like this, if we can draw this to the public's attention, we feel like we can reduce hunting accidents.
Even before he decided to get into the governor's race and pledged his support to do whatever he could do. And I told him
But this is a matter that I've been interested in a long time, and of course, many people in Alabama have, and even before I was involved in the governor's race, I was in touch with Mr. Wallace Bunn and also Mr. Carlton Baker, who's today, who came down to Montgomery to see me, because I wanted to come to Alabama whether or not I ran for governor or not.
We're delighted with the reception that the governor has given us, and he has been interested in this for a very long period of time. When he learned that there was a holding company going to be established, he communicated with Wallace Bunn, who is to be the new CEO of the proposed holding company, and expressed an interest and let us know that he wanted to do everything he could to see that some part of that or all of that was located in this state. We will still have the South Central Bell headquarters in Birmingham, but now we will have a new company that will serve both companies located in.
You and Lynn would like to say a word or two.
Excuse me, Jim, go ahead. I was going to say on behalf of Attorney General Braddock, it's a pleasure to be here.
I'm proud, of course, to be here with those of Southern Bell and South Central Bell that are announcing that their service company will be located in Birmingham. It's a very good day for Alabama, and I'm proud, of course, to be here with those of...
Staff won't do the same in Southern Bell that they are in South Central Bell, so this will enable both companies to reduce their cost. The benefit to Alabama is initially we will have about 50 new jobs of top management people that we're beginning to bring to Alabama now, and we expect this service company to grow to around 700 people in the next 2 to 3 years. They will have employees throughout our 9 states, so it will be a headquarters for an organization that will be located or have employees in all 9 states. So we're delighted with the reception.
You and Lynn would like to say a word or two.
Excuse me, Jim, go ahead. I was going to say on behalf of Attorney General Braddock, it's a pleasure to be here.
Carlton, thank you very much. It's good to have you and Carl Bailey here.
America. And the cases hold, and the historical debates show, we have cited in our brief going to legal civil liability in the state officials acting under this canal moves because the Attorney General has commenced a new term of office, and he offered S. Turner to John Ravel a tax letter dated September 22, 1977 from the WSFA fixes and allows the Attorney General's salary to be an amount.
Got back, he'd call us and we'd go out to his apartment, take the documents out there so he could. Why won't you give Charlie Graddick his pay raise? And Ray said, because it's unconstitutional. And Rayner said, Charlie just called me from Key West and he's very upset about it. And we chatted about it for a while, and I guess I must have. Rayner said, I need a memorandum which says that Charlie Graddick can get his pay raise. Said, I'm afraid that Bill Baxley is going to file a lawsuit to stop the sale of the bond issue, and it's very important that we have Graddick on our team. I think my best recollection is that that was.
State officials are entitled to the protection of law. And that's what these two statutes, section 36-5-24,
is coordinating and spearheading the fundraising activities for our business. J. Michael Williams heads the Public Relations Committee. The committee thus far is very proud to announce that
we made in the central office.
That faces the school system. I think that, as the chairman indicated, there's
We were able to open school a week earlier than...
Michael Williams heads the Public Relations Committee. Working with him is our
plans. Some are not sufficiently finalized to report, but as you know, we had 2 weeks ago.
We're working with the
legislative delegation for we have already suggested to the
Right now, I just can't comment on what the proposals were because we don't have any authority to discuss it, and we just feel like at this point the discussions should be in one and 24 and the other thereabouts. But I guess it's agreement to agree to talk further. Mobile. I'm from Mobile. I'm a lawyer. Maybe 6 in one and 24 in the other. I don't know how. Department of Revenue would have to tell you how it breaks down between the counties, but Mobile should have a fair amount because. Mutually acceptable to all parties. I guess it's agreement to agree to talk further. Ray Crow. Mobile. I'm from Mobile. I'm a lawyer. Represent 5 or 6, 7 producers.
Do you know?
The community. I can assure you that we are very pleased and
Goes into this trust fund for the purpose of helping to keep this plant here.
first it will benefit the local economy and the people of Tuscaloosa, and the university is a member of that community, and we're sensitive to that dimension of this project. Second, we are convinced that this cooperative agreement constitutes a pioneering joint endeavor wherein organized labor, industry, and higher education can work together for their mutual benefit, and certainly beyond that, for the benefit of society. And third, from the academic perspective, this agreement makes available immense resources important to the educational processes of the university.
It's a little too cold to stay by yourself, so I'm checking the motel tonight. I think like a lot of other people.
I've got reservations.
We have my wife's mother and father with us who are up in the 80s, and we had to get them out of the house. I got them out about 11 o'clock.
I'm over on Lexington Road. Oh, this is a great adventure for the kids. We decided that what we'd do is we'd pack a lunch, which we've done, and brought a bottle of wine down for Joan and I, and we're making a real experience of the whole thing, a little vacation.
It's 15, Michael is 12, and Matthew is 6. what do you get out of calling up and blessing them out, you know? I mean, they have to get out in this kind of weather to work in it to try to get us the power back on. I mean, it's nothing they can help.
Turn left, come down to Madison.
We'll give them lodging and hot meals until everything gets back to normal. We're not turning anybody away.
Have an opponent, so it really wouldn't have had an impact. No, I really appreciate the black support we got in Alabama, and I appreciate the blacks going out to exercise their rights to vote that we fought so hard for here in Alabama. I think that was the reason we had a big black turnout today.
That was your struggle since the runoff, was to encourage people to return to the polls.
Yes, to get people to go back to the polls and exercise their right to vote. And they did, and I thank Alabama.
Okay, thank you, Dolores, for joining us this evening. The Wallace headquarters.
People who are connected, of course, with the matter of bringing industry to Alabama on their industrial board and Alabama Power Company individual. And I'm going to ask Mr. Barkin to make the announcement himself. We're very proud to hear that. As it stands now, it's sort of like it was at the moment, with the possibility of future talk and negotiations.
They didn't close the door.
No, they did not close the door. I'm understanding it. They'll be used for soup kitchens, for various groups, of course, the Red Cross, the National Guard armors, and others to set up food kitchens if that time if that is needed and necessary in any county, city in Alabama.
Beginning when we start construction and through our construction phase, employ about 30 people on our payroll. When we finish the program of building, approach that we've had from the city of Demopolis and the strong support from the ADO, both of
expansion in Demopolis and in Alabama. We're real proud he's got plants in several other places in the United States, and he could have gone outside of Alabama.
These things like this, I hope you play them up, not because I'm in the governor's office, because, you know, I ain't have to worry about 4 years from now, but all these things played up give people confidence, even though it's 100 employees. If you made it prominent, you give hope to people out there.
That's a good
When you have a recall of 700 Republicans with Gadsden, a blazing headline, a big story on TV was at the moment, with the possibility of future talk and negotiations. They've left that open for future negotiations.
Remember how much you paid for groceries last month? Well, those same items are costing you less this month. The Farm Bureau survey shows that prices have dropped 0.2%. Now, that may not sound like very much, but every little bit helps. Paying less for your groceries this month than you did last month?
Slightly, but not much.
Yeah, I can't see much of a change?
No.
Farm Bureau says prices are down about 0.2%. What do you think?
Probably so, but it's so slight you can't hardly tell it.
I don't think so. I can't tell it. I'll have to see how much this is.
I'm Bob Howell, along with Bob Ingram at the state capitol in Montgomery, Alabama.
I call upon the U.S. Department of Agriculture to at once release to Alabama and to other states where similar conditions exist a supply of surplus food commodities over and above the butter and cheese allocation you have previously made. But I'm old enough to remember it. And there are 21 commodities, which includes almost any commodity you can think of that is used and need for a healthy diet. They're going to be released within 2 weeks in unlimited amounts from the commodity bank through Atlanta. And they'll be used for soup kitchens, for various groups, of course, Red Cross.
Okay, any other questions?
Our transition team looked over the matter of the National Guard armors who are necessary to have soup kitchens, and then, of course, we will work with United Way, with the Salvation Army, the American Red Cross, and even civic clubs or churches, any of those groups. Of course, none of these commodities are for sale, and there will no private business will be involved with them. They'll be given away and to be used by those who are hungry. And so we'll use all groups. We'll probably have the Pensions and Security Department